All right, Jean-Marc, Parker, welcome to the Here's How podcast. Now, this is an extra special episode because I am one of those kids that was able to go to Crystal Palace. Both of you were as well. Jean-Marc, an employee, and now Parker, someone that has been and enjoyed those rides at a young age. And we were just speaking about it, enjoyed the rides that were in Cavendish and even at Magic Mountain at a later age. Which probably feels as nostalgic as it does feel exciting again, which is really cool. But you know what? Like, for those who don't know, there is this amazing documentary that came out that Parker produced about Crystal Palace. And, when you think of Moncton, the tourists will say like the tidal bore and the chocolate river or the weird illusion that happens at Magnetic Hill, which to this day I still don't understand. I even look back at like when I was very young, there was that train that went around the zoo, which was really cool. Yeah. And you think of like the first time you've gone down the Kamikaze, those are all things there. But you know what? Like, there's this quote from The Office, and I'm not a big Office guy, but it's like, I wish there was a way to know you were in the good old days before you actually left them. And I think Crystal Palace like perfectly encapsulates that quote there.
For sure.
But I think the important question is, and this is for, and I don't know how many people have, there's, I don't know, 150,000 people in Moncton now. There's 40,000 plus people that have watched the documentary. But there's still a little gap there of people that maybe have not experienced it. But I think the important question is, if you were to describe the smell to someone that have never been to Crystal Palace, how would you describe that in words?
Oh, man.
You can go first. You'd probably remember it more.
That's a great question. I'd probably say a mix of welding and cotton candy.
I was thinking the cotton candy too.
I don't know. I just had like a mixed smell of like machinery, but also candy-esque.
Yeah, like the hydraulics and all that stuff there.
With like a slight hint of puke.
Just a little bit.
That was a part of it, but no, yeah, I mean, yeah, cotton candy, popcorn, like anything
even
in the carnival.
Coins for like the arcades, like that had like a kind of little.
Yeah. You mentioned that. After a while, like I was working where we redeemed all the coins, like we had to count all the coins and all that for each machine and whatnot, and at the end of the day, your hands would smell like the coins, like the tokens.
Nice.
Yeah.
I believe it. I have a few tokens that have made their way to my hands, and they still feel disgusting.
Fake loonies.
They still feel dirty.
Yeah.
And they're probably like 25, 30 years old at this point. Yeah. No, they still feel gross.
Wonder how much you could get on eBay for that.
Nah.
There's a few on eBay.
There's probably a ton out there, like somewhere. Someone has those.
I keep seeing them like pop up, or like people will give them to me because now that they know like I'm into it, I guess. Yeah. Like at the premiere, someone shook my hand while they were leaving, but they slipped two tokens in, and then I didn't know what it was at first, but I just put it in my pocket because there's a lot of people. Yeah. And then later I looked and I was like, oh, thank you. Yeah, that's cool. I'll add them to the staff.
Yeah.
But, you know.
So at what point did this go from, obviously some idea in your head to like, I need to do this documentary?
Okay, so that kind of goes back years.
Yeah.
So like for reference, I've always been into photos and videos and creating stuff. And in my younger years, before I turned adult age, I would do the abandoned buildings and stuff like that, right?
Cool, yeah.
And where like some kids would see abandoned buildings as, oh, cool, we can go break windows and whatever, I saw it as preserving these places that are otherwise rotting away.
Yeah.
Which is in line with documentary work, documentary photography, whatever. But once I turned adult age, I kind of steered away from that because, you don't want to get arrested and stuff like that.
Very true.
But the documentary preservation side never left me. Okay. So as I got more into photography in the car world, actually, shooting like stance cars and lowered stuff and stuff like that. It was always in the back of my mind to go make films, preserve history, do something. And I didn't really act on it for a lot of years. But so last year, I wanted to go to film school. So I applied to film school, got accepted in Toronto, and it was supposed to be like this big, exciting leap to do. Anyway, so I moved there in January, and in the first week, I got very sick. I spent 5 weeks in the hospital. I had pneumonia, fluid building up around my lungs. I had to do surgery to clean it all out. It was a whole deal. So I missed a lot of time at school. But what kind of really put the nail in the coffin that I had to drop out was they found a tumor in my lung that was cancerous. So I had to go back in May to get a surgery to remove all that.
No way.
But that really meant that I couldn't continue film school.
Gotcha.
So in a way, I felt like that dream was sailing away because, when you feel something's supposed to be everything
Yeah.
and then it's not, so you're just like disappointed. But anyways, and I guess the big part of sitting in a hospital bed is when time is standing still around you, you kind of go back to simpler times. So
Very
Crystal
true.
Palace, Rainbow Valley, Shining Water, Sandspit,
Yeah.
all these childhood places in the Maritimes that I grew up going to were just constantly replaying in my mind. So after May, when they did the surgery and I was healing from that, it kind of hit me. I was like, okay, if I can't go to film school, then you got to make it yourself, because we just don't allow it to not happen, right? You can't just give up. And then along with always for years feeling like Crystal Palace was underrepresented and underdocumented, I was like, well, maybe this is the kickstart. This is the first thing to make noise that I could do or whatever. But the other issue was, okay, do people want to talk about this?
Yeah, true.
Because I didn't work there. I only grew up going there for the later half of the park, and I don't know anybody that worked there. So I went on Facebook and I was like, okay, do people want to talk about this? Are there people that want to interview? And people wanted to. So I was like, well, I guess we run with it. And it just kind of happened. Like people that would work there would interview with me and then tell others that would work there. And it would kind of like grow in that way. And Facebook posts or reels or Instagram or TikTok or whatever.
Yeah.
Little things that I would post that tie into the nostalgia, not really saying, hey, I'm making a documentary about Crystal Palace, but I made a couple videos at like Sandspit and Shining Waters and Magic Mountain, and they got like hundreds of views and hundreds of thousands of views.
Yeah.
And so I knew this nostalgic interest was there.
There was a connection.
So it kind of just grew from that. It's like, I guess the biggest step was just doing it, not waiting. Because I could have overanalyzed that. I could have been like, oh, well, I don't have the right camera, or the weather's bad, or I want a studio, or well, I need like
how
40.
am I gonna get the footage?
Yeah, I just kind of jumped into it and figured stuff out as I go. Like when I started the plan, I didn't know anybody that worked there. I didn't have any photos other than the couple I have of me as a kid, and I didn't have any footage of the park.
Oh
And it just kind of came.
That's quite the endeavor too, because like you were saying, it's like, it's one thing to think about it in a situation where you're kind of back against the wall, like, am I gonna get through the surgery and stuff like that, but then actually like going ahead with it and then seeing this daunting task of like, okay, first of all, where am I gonna like find anything that tells the story of it in like the actual sense? And then after that, like you say, like the employees, like how do I reach out to the employees and all that? Was Jean-Marc one of the first that said yes, or?
Actually, probably not,
I think you were in
because
the
I
middle.
slept on it a bit, honestly.
Okay, really?
Yeah.
I think you were in the middle. There was a couple that like immediately did,
Okay.
and once I talked to them and I kind of got a feel of what people were saying, I put out posts probably 4 or 5 times, I think.
Yeah.
I think you saw one of the Facebook ones.
I saw, yeah, like Facebook Messenger.
Yeah.
And like I saw it I feel like I saw it early enough on, and it's not that I didn't want to participate or anything. Like it was definitely of interest,
Yeah.
but it's just like I had no idea in what was the scale of this project,
Yeah.
who was making it, and so
Yeah.
on. And yeah, it it's funny because it probably, I don't know, maybe a couple weeks had gone by. I saw a few people responding saying that they'll try and interview, and it's like, life is busy too. I've got two young kids, and it's not that I don't want to participate, but finding the time's a little challenging, especially in the summer. And then it's funny, just thinking about it, just reminiscing. I'm like, man, I have like so many good memories and so many stories as a kid, as an employee, and even now, like I this summer, having gone on a few of the rides that are now at Magic Mountain and at Shining Waters and PEI with my kids, like uh, it was just, I don't know, the timing was just like the timing of releasing this documentary, I think, or planning to make this documentary was just perfect, I find, because it's been closed, I think, just long enough
Yeah.
that people now are starting to miss it.
Yeah. I
Like,
agree.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, even like if you compare it to fashion trends, how things come back every like 10,
10-ish
15 years.
Yeah.
It's been 11 years since it closed.
Yeah.
And we can't use the last year as its marker. So we'll say like 2011.
Yeah.
So what, 14 years?
Yeah.
It
So
kind
it's
of
around
it
that.
makes its cycle, and especially post COVID where people want to do stuff more
Yeah.
than maybe they did before COVID.
I agree. Yeah.
You want to go out more, you want to do stuff, and maybe that stuff is not just sitting, at a patio or whatever, but
Yeah.
actually like mini pot or go-karts or whatever. So
Now, did the like when you started the documentary, did it shift with any specific conversation that you had with employees, or did you have a direction and always stayed that way, or how did that look?
I had no direction going into it. I
Well, it
knew
certainly looked like you did, like with the result.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I knew I wanted to like highlight the history for sure, because like a lot of the history and the story in that sense came from me digging in the newspapers, which took a lot of time.
Yeah.
I read like 100+ newspaper articles from 1988 to 2014. So it's just like,
Yeah.
me sitting at my computer on these archives digging deep, which the average person will not do,
Right.
which is
right.
fine.
Yeah.
I don't blame them. It was incredibly annoying. But so like there's a lot of facts like that, like who built it? How much was it built for?
like why?
Yeah.
Why? Like
Yeah.
stuff like that. So like those were questions I wanted to highlight. But then through talking to staff, and you hear stories and memories and nostalgia and all that, I was like, okay, well it's gonna, by like part way through shooting interviews, I was like, okay, well it's hitting 2 points. It's hitting the historical side. You'll probably learn something new about this that you didn't know.
Yeah.
Most people will.
Yeah.
And then the other side is it's hitting your memories. You'll
Yeah.
remember throwing up in the play place, or getting a pretzel at the pretzel maker,
Yeah.
or whatever. You know what I mean? You'll remember some sort of memory or nostalgia from that place, or the smell, or getting stuck on the Ferris wheel, or you know what I mean? Something like that. So you'll remember that. So that's kind of like part way through shooting it. And I was like, okay, well, it's going these two routes.
Yeah.
We're going to kind of intertwine them. I mean, I don't think they conflict each other.
No.
And I think they like go together, and that's why I structured it. Like I'd talk about, so this is the history of this part, and then here's some people that were there,
Right.
worked there, have stories of it,
Yeah.
to kind of like reinforce that. So it's a lot of like saying something and then backing it up.
And I found like, just obviously when you're a kid, that's not things that you would have remembered, but even just like, first indoor park east of, in Atlantic Canada, and like, the sheer size of it, and, the amount of money that went into it, and even just, all the experimentation that happened within the building, like, that souvenir store, and, you know, the McGuinness Landing,
Science
which,
Center.
mind you, was we were just talking about it before. It was like, I'd never been to the buffet, but would have
Oh,
been
yeah?
one of the best buffets of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've heard a lot
the,
of.
the
I've
Science
heard a lot of
Center,
good things.
like,
Yeah. No,
Like-
McGuinness Landing was definitely a good restaurant.
yeah.
I remember like even towards the later years of so I worked from 2005 to 2012.
Okay.
So towards the later years, they had a staff menu for us that was like $5 or $6 for like these awesome meals. Like if I'd be working there now, I'd be eating there every night.
I never went to McGuinness Landing.
No,
I went to Carrot as a kid though. I was just there for
Yeah.
the swings and the roller coaster. So it was cool, like making it. It was more eye opening for things that I wouldn't have cared about as a kid.
Yeah.
Because eating was not my priority at
No.
Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
No.
Or, the Science Center closed before I was even born. The gift shop closed before I was even born. We didn't really go to chapters because, again,
Yeah.
if I'm in Crystal Palace, I'm not reading a
Going to be in
book.
Crystal
I'm
Palace.
going on the swings. So it was cool to learn about aspects that I wouldn't have. I knew were there, but I wouldn't have cared.
Mhm.
And even the hotel, I'm from Moncton. I wouldn't stay there.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with me, but to hear people's experiences staying at the hotel and how it was like an exciting trip or a resort style stay. It's cool. It's cool to hear about the whole thing as a whole. And that's why I wanted to cover every bit, because it's more than just a bunch of rides.
Right.
It was pretty dynamic, honestly, for the Maritimes.
What do you like? Do you think it's something to do with Moncton that made it like such a cool and unique attraction? Like, does Moncton have something to do with it? Do you feel? Like, would it have worked anywhere else?
It's the hub city. I think
Yeah.
that was the biggest part. And even in some of the research, the developers conveniently they own Champlain Mall,
Right.
which helps when you have land already.
Mm-hmm.
But they wanted to choose a place that people could travel from all around to. And Moncton makes the most sense when you look at it on a geographical level,
yeah.
because Halifax is only 2.5 hours away.
Yeah.
Fredericton and St. John are an hour 40.
Yeah.
So it's like all these different metro areas can all come in. And I mean, Hopewell Rocks is near here.
Yeah.
Fundy's near here. Magic Mountain was open 2 or 3 years before it at the
Right.
time. So there's other attractions for sure.
It's funny thinking about it because we grew up at least all of us, we grew up in the Moncton area at an age where it already existed, or at least I was 2 when it opened. So whatever.
Yeah.
So you just grew up with it.
Yeah.
It was there. So it's hard to imagine a life with it not being there. And now that it's closed, you say to yourself, if a place like that was to open now in Moncton, brand new, you'd be like, whoa, are you serious?
This is so cool.
This is so cool. Anyways. And so myself, I'm not sure if it, would it work anywhere else? It's hard to say, but for me, it's just it was Moncton. It's the first thing you see driving into town, and
And I mean, it is hard to say. I would argue almost Halifax currently could pull something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if entertainment is the same as it was in the early
For sure.
90s, late 80s.
Yeah.
And looking at, if you go broader and looking at maritime amusement parks, Sandspit, Magic Mountain, Crystal Palace, and Upper Clemens Park all opened in that late 80s, early 90s era.
Yeah.
Between 85 and 1990. So that's 4 pretty significant spots in the Maritimes, different areas, but that all open within the same amount of time. So it's it's interesting to see what was different at that point in culture where they were like, hey, let's go crazy and open things to do.
Yeah. In that respect, the amusement parks and all that.
Yeah.
Did you find a connection between all is it
I
really
mean,
just independent
they're all separate
Yeah.
owners, and I mean, I've been trying to dive deeper into like some of the history behind some of those.
Yeah.
Like Opera Clements was a government initiative
Okay.
because they wanted to boost tourism,
Okay.
but they built it in the valley
Right.
and not near Halifax,
Right.
which is like an interesting decision looking back.
Mm-hmm.
And that closed in 2019, so
Okay.
that's had its run. And then Crystal Palace was a private developer out of province from Toronto.
Yeah.
So that's interesting that someone from Toronto would look at Moncton and be like, let's build not just an amusement park, an indoor amusement park.
Yeah.
I think that's the big kicker. Like there's not like a super big shortage of outdoor attractions in the Maritimes.
Yeah.
Like we've had Rainbow Valley and Magic Mountain and Sandspit and Shining Waters and Upper Clemens and Magic Valley, and
Mm-hmm.
that can get
Carnival
nicher
coming
and
to town
nicher,
all the
but
time.
yeah, so it's there's no shortage of outdoor stuff, but indoor was like the whoa, because like comparative
Yeah.
to what came before, there's nothing.
No, that's
There's nothing
true.
like that. There's outdoor stuff like that, but there's nothing indoor like that.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, and I mean, like Sandspit was privately local PEI people that
Yeah.
built that.
Yeah.
Magic Mountain was private, local Moncton people that built that.
Yeah.
So
Is there anything that, like, as you were doing the document, because you said you did a lot of research with it, is there anything that you uncovered in it that was like, that stood out, that was really interesting about the whole perspective of building this, or something that, maybe you just like didn't know whatsoever once you started and you were like, oh shit, like that's pretty crazy?
I mean, like learning that it was a Toronto development company
Yeah.
kind of made me go, oh, because I would have guessed the mall. Like I only knew the mall as owned by Cadillac Fairview.
Right.
That's really because that's who owned it since I was born, right? So like learning that it was a different developer, which makes sense. Like malls change hands, but like that, like a guy and his son who were both were significant people in the company had a passion to want to build an amusement park, and they chose it here. It was just like that's weird. That's not someone local
Yeah.
with a
yeah,
vision.
Yeah.
Like I've talked to the son of the guy who built Rainbow Valley,
Yeah.
and like that was all handmade, and they built it up over years, and they took time, and
Right.
you know what I mean? It's locally owned, it's like family owned, and the 60s and the 90s are very different eras in
They are.
terms of attractions.
Yeah.
But Crystal Palace was just $26 million thrown at it,
Yeah.
and all at once. So it's like, it's kind of a very rapid construction for the Maritimes.
It is. Yeah.
Compared to other stuff that would have more like homey, wholesome starts, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know. Like that kind of caught me off guard originally, because like it's a lot of money to throw into a place
Hey, $26 million
at the
today
time.
would be.
I don't know
like-
what it would be today,
Yeah.
but and I mean, amusement parks, like there's not much indoor to begin with in Canada,
Very true. Yeah.
and the Maritimes is the place to choose, which is population wise less than
Oh yeah.
Toronto or
And at the
Montreal.
time when it was built, like we were just talking about, like it's technically in Dieppe, but like there was probably not even 10,000 people in Dieppe. So
Yeah, probably not. Dieppe was only a city in 2003. So
right. Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting
Yeah.
to think about why they would choose it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think based on like the research and what's out there,
Yeah.
it's a combination of they own the property because they own the mall, and Moncton Central enough in the Maritimes where it made
So
sense.
you get people to kind of.
I'm guessing. I can't find much on Trider, like the development company. I haven't
Okay.
been able to dig too deep on them, just because I think they went out of business before the internet era.
Okay.
But like they must not have had any properties west, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, you couldn't build anything like Crystal Palace in downtown Toronto. You just wouldn't
That's
have the
very true. Yeah.
space like that. But I don't know. It's crazy that Moncton was chosen. Like I was telling my mom, I was like, I can't believe it was built. Like honestly,
Yeah.
true.
like
Yeah.
digging
It's
too
funny
far
to
into
think,
it, I
like-
can't believe it was built.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm not mad. Like I'm
Yeah.
happy
Yeah,
that
not
it
at all.
existed.
And I mean,
because it was cool.
Yeah.
and obviously it's still like, it's funny how even though it's not Crystal Palace anymore, it's still having it built at the time, it still has its lasting impact now.
Oh yeah.
With like, I'm not sure Bass Pro would be in Moncton if that would not
Agreed.
have been built
Very true.
at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bass Pro kind of was like the perfect
Fit for it,
tenant.
Yeah.
And I think, like, a lot of people think Bass Pro, like, kicked out Crystal Palace.
Mm.
It wasn't like that. Basically, Cadillac Fairview was analyzing the park, and at almost 25 years old in 2014, it would need updates, it would need maintenance. And it's not like it was
Okay.
poorly maintained.
Right.
It was actually pretty well maintained for amusement parks
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that are small,
Yeah.
honestly. Like, I've been to some pretty, like, janky ones out, like, outside of Toronto. I went to this place called, what's it called? Fantasy Fair, Woodbine Fantasy Fair.
Okay.
And it felt and smelt very similar to Crystal Palace. But I think out of, like, we'll say 20 rides there,
Yeah.
maybe 5 of them were running.
Okay.
Oh,
with,
yeah.
like, most of them stagnant, not operational, not open at all.
Right.
And it's like,
Yeah.
Crystal Palace never had that
Almost
dying
never,
moment.
honestly.
Right.
Like, I have to say that about Crystal Palace. Like, it was rare. It happened a few times where they had to like take the swings apart, and it was
Right.
down for a month or so. I'm not sure if like the roller coaster, for example, was ever out of commission for an
yeah.
extended period of time.
And
Sure.
like a month maintenance is really nothing
Yeah.
Right.
comparative to
And
years.
Yeah.
and the park's open every day
Yeah.
of the year except
Right.
for Christmas.
Yeah.
But yeah, even almost any of the rides, there's almost none that were ever out of order for more than a couple days, if that. Except in the time that I worked there. I've heard stories about like in the past. I wasn't there when the simulator was there, but apparently that liked to break down.
That was like the van looking
yeah,
thing.
the van looking thing
yeah.
that played a video and
Yeah.
shook and all this
Yeah.
kind of
That one was down a few times. I remember that one
Yeah.
being down.
That was before my time.
yeah. You didn't get the
Oh, man.
Oh, that
No,
one was
it would've-
sick.
I was only born in 2001,
Okay.
so I'm like
True.
yeah,
young comparative
Yeah.
to
Yeah, so he was the kid riding the rides when I was operating the rides.
yeah,
There
pretty
you
much.
go.
Like you probably ran something I rode,
Absolutely.
honestly.
100%.
Will we
insane.
ever know? No,
Yeah.
I
but
don't know.
probably
Because
does,
there's no
honestly.
video footage.
Yeah,
We can't
yeah.
find anything on this.
No smartphones at the time.
How was it working there? Like, how was the overall, like, was it a chaotic job? Was it a fun job? Like,
I wouldn't say it's, well, yeah, sure, it could be chaotic 'cause it got pretty busy there sometimes. Like March breaks were crazy. Like crazy, I mean, like it was busy.
Yeah.
But in terms of, like, it was pretty well organized in terms of like an establishment like
Yeah.
that employs young people.
yeah.
And it was fun for, like, I operated the rides for like in the summers and part-time for 2 years, and then I was revenue and shift coordinator, so more in the managing
Office
the
and
staff
stuff
and
like that.
managing the money side of things. But like working there as a ride attendant, like it was fun in the fact that like we all went to different high schools, right? And
Yeah.
you feel like, actually we went to the same high school.
Yeah.
But like in your high school, you didn't know everyone, but there was circles within your high school, right? And you
Yeah.
kind of felt like, you know, if you step outside the school, well, you still have your circle of people
Yeah.
at the school. You're like, I don't really know that person, but they go to my school,
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of thing. Well, like Crystal Palace, as an employee there, in being 16 years old in high school, like it kind of provided another circle, right? It was
Right.
like because
Yeah.
there was, in the summer they'd ramp up employment, but if you wanted to work, like hang on after the summer and work part-time, you could
Yeah.
during the year.
Yeah.
So it kind of, like during the summer, I think they'd probably have about 100 or so, maybe 90 to 100 hosts, they'd call them, the ride attendants, and people working in the park. And so it kind of provided like another high school, if you will, of like another social circle.
Yeah, because it would have been a lot of young, like it would have been summer jobs, right?
Yeah, lots of like I'd say most people working there were, you know, between 16 and 20. Like the vast majority. There were some people that were in their 30s and some 40s and whatever, but the vast majority was definitely between 16 and 20 years old kind of thing. So being a young ride attendant there, sure, you had the job itself, but it also, like, I met a lot of friends working there.
True.
Like the best man at my wedding, I met working at
No
Crystal
way.
Palace.
Oh, that's
And like a lot of friends that I was like sort of friends with in high school,
but then
I became closer to them because
Yeah.
we were both working at Crystal Palace kind of thing.
yeah.
So it was special in that aspect, but the job itself was, I mean, you're working in an amusement park, right?
Yeah.
Like people go there to have fun.
Yeah.
So sure, when you're like when you're in your teen years, it's not like you're not in your late teens, I should say. You're not necessarily going there yourself anymore. Or maybe it's not cool to go and hang out there. Maybe it's not even perceived cool to work there. But if you think about it, you're working in an amusement park where people go to have a good time.
Yeah.
Most everyone is having a good time there. It wasn't really a hard job.
Right.
It could be mundane if you're stuck on the same ride kind of like
Yeah.
all day kind of thing, but you find ways to make it, to entertain yourself.
Yeah.
And just chaotic. It all depends the job you were doing.
Yeah.
And like if you're talking about like operating the rides, some rides were more chaotic than others to operate. But I think in the big picture, you don't remember like, oh, when I think back of operating the rides at Crystal Palace, I don't remember there being like, oh geez, that was a hard day. It's like, no, it was a good time. And you think more about the socializing with your staff and whatever, and the quirks of everything, every aspect there is of working there. And
I feel like as you describe it, it's almost like I worked in the restaurant industry for the longest time, so I feel it's almost like the restaurant industry experience where, like, you know, you meet people there that you might have friends of friends that know each other, and then you do this job that's like entertaining people and providing them with that service, but like that experience there creates kind of cool bonds that I don't think happen a lot in, like, you know, the office job 9 to 5, just like, oh, like you're in your little cubicle and you say hello and you go into meetings and things like that.
Yeah.
I think that's a cool part of, like, especially when you're in your teen years, like to have that experience there, to make those friendships, especially outside of school, because we all made friends through school, and that was our only little ecosystem of like socializing.
Right.
But to get outside of that, and where it's like, I think it has a different dynamic to it, which is pretty cool.
And like with the fact that like you making this documentary, like at first, like I was saying, like I almost slept on the opportunity of like, anyways, but I'm glad that I was able to provide a few stories there. But like the biggest gift though that you've given everyone with making this documentary is just the opportunity to reminisce and to reflect on all those years and what it meant to me. Like when I was, like I was saying, I was almost sleeping on the fact, like, okay, yeah, he's looking for staff to interview and whatever. And it was just like kind of biting me in the back of the head. It's like, Crystal Palace meant, like, even if I don't realize it, it shaped a lot of my life.
Yeah.
As a kid, as a young adult, and even like lasting now as a father. Yeah. Like, you know, like I was saying earlier, like I had the chance to go on the roller coaster this summer that's at Shining Waters in PEI now with my girls, and like it was a very, like, to me it was a very special moment. And what drew me there is like, well, I remember going on, like being proud of myself going on the roller coaster as a kid, and like I loved amusement parks as a kid, and then, well, I mean, how crazy is it living in Moncton where there's an indoor amusement park that's open year round,
right?
Looking for a job as a 16-year-old. Well, okay, yeah, sure, why not? And so like it's crazy to reflect on it and think how much Crystal Palace shaped my life.
Oh yeah.
And
100%.
yeah, like just like I mentioned, like there's some friendships there that like I
They've stood the test of time, right?
100%.
Yeah. Now, our experience in terms of like our age versus when it closed is probably different than your experience. What did it feel like at your age when it closed? Because for us, it would have been the time where it's like at that, if we were, you were,
Mid-20s.
yeah, we were, yeah, way older.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah, I
still,
was 13.
yeah. So for you, it must have been, was it heartbreaking?
I don't remember, like,
Okay.
honestly.
Yeah.
Because and a lot of things that I kind of like section off my life in different ways based on what existed.
Yeah.
So a lot of things at that point closed. Highfield Square Mall closed,
Yeah.
which I know it's just a mall and it was pretty dead during its end, but there was something special about walking through there during Christmas time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go through those doors,
True.
watch the parade,
Yeah.
go back through and it's warm.
Yeah.
I went to the Christmas parade this year to like just shoot street photos.
Yeah.
And it felt weird not having that,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
like, and the way I see a mall is not for shopping, it's for gathering,
True. True.
which
true.
is a very different perspective than the standard
Yep.
view of a mall. But it was a gathering space. People would go meet Santa or walk through it and wait outside of it for the bus. And
Yeah.
it was a place that interconnects and intertwines. And I mean, the best example to kind of reinforce that is if you go to Toronto and you go to the Eaton Center.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a mall. There's stores in it.
Yeah.
But it's also a subway station.
Yeah.
It's also a bus station. It's also a plaza right beside it. It's also connecting the path where people walk through it.
Mm-hmm.
Food court. Like, it's more than a mall.
gathering
It's more
space.
than a store.
Yeah.
So, anyways, gathering spaces. Highfield Square closes. The school I went to, Upland School, which was a small school right by where I live, also got torn down around that point. And then Crystal Palace. So like those three, I was like, whoa, too much change. Settle down. Like we went one of the last days for Crystal Palace. I think I cared more about biking at that point than I did
Okay.
about like biking and skateboarding, because that's what I was into as a kid,
Yeah.
than about like going to the park necessarily. But we definitely went before it closed.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a lot of like memories, especially, you know, within its last few years of me going there. I remember being at some youth event where we were there from like 3 a.m. to 6 a.m.
Okay.
because they rented it out.
Yeah, I worked some of those.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
so it's like, how cool is that? You're way past your bedtime at like 11 as a kid, because
At
you're
Crystal
like
Palace.
at Crystal Palace,
Yeah.
and you're like running around. And I remember like you'd be on the roller coaster and you'd go your 3 laps, and then nobody would be in line, so you'd do like 3 more, and like I think I did 10 at one point
Yeah,
in a row,
yeah.
and it's just like stuff like that can't be replicated when you go to Disney World or bigger places.
Mm-hmm.
Although, so I'm big into roller coasters.
Yeah.
And the real reason is because the Crystal Palace roller coaster
Okay,
really
no-
kickstarted that
Yeah.
stuff. That one, and then Cyclone at Sandspit,
Okay. Yeah.
and then the wooden one that was at Upper Clemens.
Yeah.
But like those are the 3 that I would have grown up with, right? So last week when I was in Florida, we went to Busch Gardens.
Yeah.
The whole park was dead. There was nobody there, and
No
this is like
way.
top, like well respected, you know, roller coasters,
Yeah.
like well world known.
Yeah.
So I was like, it kind of felt like Crystal Palace in a way, where you could get off, go back through the line, and immediately be back on. Like there was no waits. So it's cool because it kind of feels like that, like the excitement. Like nobody wants to wait 4
No,
hours
no.
or whatever.
Don't want to buy those like passes
Yeah.
to pass all
Yeah.
the lines. And
No,
everything.
exactly. And like there were some points where I literally like asked, I was like, "Can I just stay on?" And they're like, "Yeah." And like you'd go again, and like this isn't the Crystal Palace roller coaster. This is like,
Yeah.
you know, well-known, world-respected,
Yeah.
millions of dollars ride. So it was cool in that way. Like, I guess that's what I miss about Crystal Palace is the homey feeling. You
Yeah.
get those special moments at a place that's smaller,
Yeah.
that's more, you can get to know the staff or whatever. You know what I mean?
And I think too is like, you know, I my fondest memories of Crystal Palace are a lot of those like the first time you go on a roller coaster, well, it's like that sensation that you get when it goes really fast, and like even like the virtual the what did we call it before that? It looked like a
Oh,
van
like the
there.
simulator?
The simulator, like
Yeah.
that was the first time you were in like you felt like you were in like a 3D ride.
Yeah.
And I find like a lot of those sensations there that happen at a place like that are very hard to replicate, also because they're first, but they stick with you, and you oftentimes like lose that the feeling that it gives you. But then once you rewatch it and you relive it in your mind, and especially in watching your documentary, you're like that's what makes you really emotional at that point. I
Yeah,
find
yeah.
it's like, oh my god, like that was so fucking cool, like that was so fun, right?
Yeah.
And I wonder, like, if you were to build a park, like if it were to reopen, how would you do it for kids today?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah.
Like,
Because I feel like, say, it's a different generation, and I'm happy that like your experience that you were just talking about, and you have almost 10 plus years between Jean-Marc and I and yourself, but your experience still seems very similar
Yeah.
to what we lived. And now if we think about another 10 to 15 years, like what would a park like that look like?
Like, I'm not sure. Like, it's funny. I'm thinking about it, but like the roller coaster and like the swings, I don't think that ever gets old.
Yeah.
Like,
It doesn't.
because it's not everyday life.
Yeah.
It's a special day when you go on a roller coaster or on these swings that are flying through the air. Like, and really, like all the kid rides and stuff like that, like that's not a normal day for an everyday kid either.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm not sure. The like the formula, I don't think would change that much. Maybe just like the accessories around it, kind of thing.
Right.
Like, yeah, I remember the last few years that I worked at Crystal Palace, like they were swapping out a lot of the arcade games, and they started like
yeah.
they're like, whoa, like that looks new age, like all this new stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
The rest would have pretty much still worked.
like sure, maintain it, maybe change the look and feel. Maybe you have to swap out a ride, but I mean, I think you can redress the same ride a different way and provide the same.
Yeah, I think also like our perspective of it is probably a little bit skewed because we age, but the experience, like at that same age, like a kid that would have been
the kids-
7 or 8 years old in 2025
Yeah.
maybe would have been like,
But-
oh, this is really fucking
But the
sick,
kids,
right?
the kids going to the park don't age, right?
Yeah, that's true, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because like you were saying earlier, like how did you feel when it closed? Well, like when we were mid-20s when it closed,
Yeah.
and like I like having worked there 7 years. Sure, I felt like there was a part,
Yeah.
like there was a part of me that was sad, but at the same time I was like, yeah, probably makes sense. It's probably about time and whatever.
Yeah.
But now 10, 15 years later, and especially now that I have kids, I'm like, man, it would be so sweet
To bring the kids there.
that Crystal Palace would be there.
Yeah.
So like, I think it's just like the demographic of people that go. I think you can provide the same experience as long as it's maintained and and well operated. Like, I think, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think people still have the same experience currently on it.
Yeah.
You can go to Magic Mountain, ride the swings. I think people still enjoy it in the same
Very
way.
true.
Or the roller coaster. Like,
Yeah.
I took one of my buddies that's my age to Magic Mountain. So he didn't grow up in Moncton. He moved
Yeah.
here in 2018 from BC. So it's like he never got it. And
Yeah.
when I told him about doing this film and all that, he was like, well, like, what do you mean? Like, what do you care? And I was like, no, you don't understand.
Yeah.
You don't understand. And I was like, we're going to Magic Mountain. We paid $5 for like just a one ride ticket, and then we rode the swings. And I was like, do you get it now? And he's like, yeah, I get it. Like, you can have the same experience. And I think that was a big part of what I was trying to get at the end, is just because the place how it was doesn't exist doesn't mean the experience can't ever exist again.
That's true.
It can still exist again, and you can find that passion or that nostalgia or that experience in different places. And
Yeah.
like I've gone to like other amusement parks in the States or out west or whatever that have had elements that are similar to Crystal Palace, and you go, that feels familiar and that feels
Yeah.
nostalgic. Like the swings, they're pretty standard across, you know, Six Flags or
Yeah.
whatever, but that feels it feels homey, it feels special, it feels different.
Yeah.
Even though it's not exciting compared to everything else in that place,
Yeah.
it feels familiar. So it's like,
Yeah.
I think people still enjoy it. Like people still go to Magic Mountain, people still go to Sandspit, Shining Waters. Like people still ride similar levels of attractions within
Yeah.
the Maritimes,
Yeah.
and people have fun. And like you said in the doc, your daughters talked about it
Yeah.
all day,
Yeah,
all week
yeah.
after riding the roller coaster. So the experience, I mean, do we have more technology now? Sure, but like there's something simple enough yet thrilling enough where it just does something for you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
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 I don't think you can impress someone who's been on every single ride in the world, but
sure.
that's not the point.
No, that's it.
It's funny you mentioned that because like I've been to my fair share of amusement parks too when I was a kid, and like in the States, I have family in the States and whatever, and we'd always hit up an amusement park or whatever. And every time you're at a different amusement park, like Crystal Palace is our home amusement park. So you're
Right.
comparing everything. You're like, oh, that one's kind of like at Crystal Palace, but it's a bit bigger. It's
Yeah.
you know that one's kind of like you always relate it to
Yeah.
Crystal Palace.
Yeah. We should bring Crystal Palace back.
We should.
Yeah. Anyone got $26 million?
Yeah.
Well, in today's dollars, it'd probably be like 100. What, like, if you were like, because you'd mentioned like obviously getting the initial investors or the first people that got into it and all that, or even as the years gone by and ownership change and all that, is there anything that you felt that could have been done differently, or and even from your perspective, maybe like seeing the years go by while you were working there, like is there anything based on both your experiences or even like through doing the documentary that you would be like, I wish they would have done this differently, or maybe like, you know, something pop out like that? Or
It's a good question because I mean, even having worked there for such a long period of time, like I'm only I only thought about it like once watching the documentary, how much it had to offer, like
right,
hotel,
yeah.
movie theater,
Yeah.
Chapters, Starbucks, the McGuinness
Restaurant,
Landing
yeah.
Convention Center,
Yeah,
all in one building. And even working there for that long a period of time, you forget that everything else is there.
right.
So you asking that question, like, I don't know, it seems like they offered quite a bit in one building. Sure, it wasn't all operated solely by Crystal Palace, but it was all like intended to be open together.
Yeah,
I think it hit the mark for what the Maritimes can handle.
right.
And like like even like comparative to other stuff, like there was a lot there that would exist in other places, just not in the same format. Like having the hotel in the park,
Yeah,
the movie theater in the park, the restaurant in the park, the science center in the park. You can go to all those places separately,
yeah,
but having it in one combined area, like
Right.
it just kind of hit what, like I don't know what I'd do differently. Like you
Yeah.
could argue, well, different rides or whatever, but like they had something for every level.
yeah,
Carousel for young kids
Yeah.
and the swings for older, like,
yeah.
and then the mini putt for like young adults,
Sick mini bus.
Yeah.
and the
Oh, man, it was
arcade
the
for young
best.
Oh,
adults.
my
And
God,
it's
that was
like
I
the
think
variety
everyone-
was good.
Yeah, I think everyone from even working there, from kids to adults, like mini putt was a slam
Yeah.
dunk for,
Yeah.
No,
for
it was
everyone.
really dynamic for
Yeah.
where it is.
Yeah.
Like multiple levels and tunnels. It's like
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate it couldn't go anywhere, but
That would have been kind of the cool thing if Bass Pro could have just kept the
Oh,
mini putt.
yeah. That would have been cool.
Because that would have, like, the mini putt there just was, like you say,
Yeah.
like,
They
so
could have
dynamic.
honestly like fit
Takes up
it
a lot
in
of
the
space though,
vibe.
but
Yeah.
They would have fit low key though. Like
Yeah.
retheme the boat from like a pirate boat to a more like fishing boat. Like
yeah.
you can make it work. But I don't think Bass Pro wanted to be like an entertainment space.
No.
Maybe
Not
not
here, I
here,
guess.
Yeah.
Like I know there's some Bass Pros that have
Yeah.
like bowling alleys and,
Right.
and
Yeah,
well, hotels. And
the Pyramid one in Tennessee
yeah.
has like
that's
a hotel and
yeah.
a restaurant at the top.
Yeah,
that you go up this
I've
big
been
glass
there.
Yeah, it looks nuts.
Yeah.
And it's a friggin' Bass Pro. Like, why?
But to your guys' point, it is difficult to think about what you could do differently as the years go by as well, because there is a lot of variety and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I just wonder, it's like, how do you, because a decision has to be made to close it, and you were saying more the maintenance, the upkeep and all of that, but it's like, could you have still be able to turn a profit, right? Like, does it, because you do the maintenance, then does the general admission have to go double? Like, is that the sacrifice of it? Or, did it just run its course, and then, maybe, if you've been all throughout the years, and then like after a certain while you don't want to pay $25 to go in even at 25 years old or whatever, and then you might go back in another 10 years, but like the population's not going to grow enough for me going once every 10 years to make it profitable.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how that plays all in a part where you, like, this population continues to make it survive, right?
Yeah. I mean, I know on the maintenance side, like most rides like have there's a maintenance plan, right?
Right.
And I think it's planned that a ride is designed to last
A specific amount of
a
time.
a specific amount of time, but there's routine maintenance and like
Right.
so that you don't have to replace the entire ride.
Gotcha.
You replace parts and whatnot.
Yeah.
As far as I know, I think even when it closed, I think it was still relatively successful, like still
Really, eh?
relatively
Yeah.
profitable. As far as I know, I mean, I could be wrong, but as far as I heard, it was still doing
good.
pretty well.
Yeah.
That's what I heard too.
Yeah.
My understanding is Cadillac Fairview was over-owning an amusement park.
Okay.
Which would
Really?
which
Yeah.
would make
It doesn't
sense.
fit in
It's
their
not
portfolio
their
at all.
Right.
It's not their usual operation.
And I think, I mean, like if you're looking at that space, it's kind of an awkward shape.
Yeah.
It's not really like split upable like the mall.
Yeah.
So you kind of need one tenant to just hit it home.
Yeah.
And I think it just worked out that Bass Pro wanted to enter this market at that time, and they filled the whole space. Like, I don't really blame them. Like, what else would go there? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
A really weird Walmart or a really weird, weird Costco.
Yeah.
Like,
And I mean, as much as like you said in the documentary, like as much as it is sad that Crystal Palace isn't there anymore, you can still live that experience
When you go.
even though the rides aren't all under the same roof anymore.
Yeah,
You can still have your little taste of Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
But you go to Bass Pro today, and I forget who said it in the documentary, but it was like, it's hard to imagine that you're not in Crystal Palace.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it still provides a place to go spend a little time. You don't have to go there and spend money, but you can, like my girls love going to Bass Pro too and look at the fish and all that.
Yeah.
Like it's still a unique experience in Moncton, I believe.
Yeah.
and Bass Pro's a destination that people travel to,
Very true.
similar that Crystal Palace was. Maybe in different ways, but people from St. John, Fredericton, Miramichi come down to go there. Like,
Yeah.
people go to like search it out purposefully. So
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm not even sad that it like. Well, I'm sad that it doesn't exist. I'm not like sad wishing it was still here,
Okay.
which
Yeah,
is
yeah.
an interesting perspective
yeah,
as someone
yeah,
who made
yeah.
a 55-minute documentary about it. But like, I mean, I think things have to run their time, and I think we didn't like really lose that much that people like some people act like we lost everything, but like the fact that it made Magic Mountain this more dynamic place.
True. Yeah.
Kind of like, and especially talking to like people at Magic Mountain and like understanding that deal more. You know, I think like the local attractions that we still have, the fact that the bits and pieces from Crystal Palace went to these places,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what we should be happy and support, you
Yeah,
know, like,
yeah.
or those will fade too.
Very true.
I mean, I don't think Crystal Palace can come back. I think money wise, it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And even if it did, it would never be the same. And there's a lot of things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Magic Mountain's doing something special.
Yeah.
I think Shining Waters is doing something special.
Yeah.
So I think it's like, you know, we got to support
Go
what's out
support
here
those
too.
places, right? Yeah.
I do miss it. Like I wish I could go shoot it.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. I wish I
Yeah.
could go like take my camera,
Yeah.
photograph everything, film
Yeah.
everything, like make sure every single detail is covered, but I can't. But I mean, I don't know if it would last like currently. I think COVID would be hard for it.
COVID would have, that
Very
would-
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I'm left wondering, with all of our experiences and anyone that's been there, if it has truly left a void in Moncton. But I think what you've said there is put it into perspective. Is like, I think the right parts have been preserved, but what is important to take away from that is that those things can leave forever if you don't continue to support them. And we still have the opportunity to go support places like Magic Mountain or even any attraction that opens up in Greater Moncton, and it is our responsibility to support those things as much as anyone else coming in and trying it out for the first time. Like, make it a yearly thing to go with your kids, or even to go with your high school buddies or
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that, right? Because I think that's, to your point, like, it's part of that experience of like, hey, it's maybe not so much the place or the rides, it's like what happened there.
Yeah.
Right?
Spending time with your family and friends. And,
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it's the experience. And I mean, Magic Mountain has a similar vibe to
Yeah.
what Crystal Palace had. It's fun. It's, you go there and you have fun and you don't have to think about life or whatever,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You're just rides or mini putt.
Yeah, you're experiencing something that you don't do every day with other people.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like,
And I went for the first time in a very long time last year, and they have a couple of like new slides that are
Okay,
like
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
sick. That
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
dude, this is insane. Like the
Yeah.
one where the floor drops out from
Yeah.
under your
Yeah.
feet. I was
Yeah.
like, dude,
I won't touch that.
that is so sick.
yeah.
I won't
So-
touch that.
And the
can't-
kamikaze's still super fun. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's still
yeah.
iconic. Like,
Yeah.
it's still one of the tallest body slides in
Yeah,
Canada.
eh?
Like, it's not like it's shrunk.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like it's got smaller or worse. It's
Yeah.
still like impressive. And
Yeah.
I think the mini putt's really good. Me and my friends went like probably like 10 times this summer.
Yeah.
Oh,
this,
yeah.
this whole project shifted my eyes. So where like this summer I went to Magic Mountain 10 times, played mini putt. I went to Sandspit,
Yeah.
Shining Waters for the day. I went to the Haunted Mansion in Kensington, PEI.
Okay.
Super cool,
Yeah.
family owned, animatronics popping out, jump scares, Haunted Mansion, like super impressive.
Yeah.
So it's like I've been trying to like do my duty
Yeah.
to support this local stuff and make videos or
Yeah.
highlight them or whatever.
And I think, again, it's as much as we've got right in front of our faces all the time, like something to entertain us, you can also put it down for a few minutes and just like look outside. And I think what really made me, and I told you before we started, I'm like, there's not a lot of documentaries, like maybe TV shows I'll be able to get through 45 minutes and then check my phone or whatnot. But documentaries, I find sometimes it's like, there's this boring part and you're like, you want to just pick it up. This one I was like glued the whole time. And I think hopefully for some people, or the 40,000 people watching it, the takeaway is like, you know what? Like, I can still go and experience or create that memory that in 20 years from now will be my new nostalgia.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
John, who is part of the Magic Mountain team, who I interviewed, he said it really, really well. So I'm gonna paraquote him or whatever.
Yeah.
He looks at it as kids today are making their nostalgia at Magic Mountain or Shining Waters or Sandspit. And I think that's how even us adults should look at it.
Yeah.
Yes, you can miss something that's gone, but you can still go enjoy what's there.
Yeah.
And that's how that place lasts. And that's how that place can live on and
Very
stuff
well
like
said.
that. I mean, like a lot of things, the Maritimes isn't short for things fading or disappearing. But I think the fact that they stayed in the Maritimes
Yeah.
after,
Yeah.
and that was important
Yeah.
from the managers at Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
Like the managers at Crystal Palace reached out to Magic Mountain specifically to go, hey, we want these to remain in the area.
Very cool.
We don't want these to go. Ontario is probably where things would end up. But
Yeah.
like there was intent there, and I think we should, like, anybody who hears that should look at that as, oh, well, I should go support that. I should go. I'm not sponsored, but you know what I mean? Like, I think we
Magic
should.
Mountain sales are going to go up next
I
year.
think we should care about things that we
I
have.
agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's even coming from me who has traveled and gone to other parks, but
Sure, yeah.
I will still support the local.
Yeah.
I think you can do both, but I mean, I think we should care.
Yeah.
I think the Maritimes is special for things like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's a big goal of mine, to highlight stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been making a lot of reels highlighting different buildings and things that people would normally walk by
Yeah.
and not really know anything about. I found some really like interesting stuff, like in the history like archives and
Yeah.
whatnot. And it's just things where you're like, why? But that's really cool.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Is there anything that pops out right now? That
In
you-
Moncton,
Yeah.
do you know where the St. James Gate is?
Yeah.
So that was the former Salvation Army Citadel, which
Okay.
is a church.
Okay.
But in the back part, there's this. If you go in the back alley,
Yeah.
it looks like a separate building.
Yeah.
So that is from the 1880s. It was up on St. George Street, where Aberdeen is.
Okay. Yeah.
There was a school called the Central School. It was like 3 or 4 buildings.
Okay.
One of them got purchased, moved down to Main Street. I
No
know.
way.
In like
What?
So they built Aberdeen in 1895, I think.
Yeah.
So like right around that time, moved down to Main Street. Salvation Army operated out of it, and then in the 20s or 30s, don't quote me, they wanted to build a bigger space because they were growing.
Okay.
But instead of tearing down this building, they moved it back and then built the whole extension around it and up. So
No way.
this building that was built in the 30s or whatever
Yeah.
just has this piece back section that is from 1880s.
And
You
it's
would
been
never
moved
know.
around.
Walking by, you would never know.
Right.
But like if you go and you look,
Yeah.
you can see the wooden windows. You can see that it's like its
Yeah,
own
yeah.
structure separated. But anyways, stuff like that is cool because you would just walk there, drive by, and you would never
you-
think about that.
Yeah.
And
how
I've been
many-
trying to find a lot of things, not just in Moncton. I mean,
Yeah.
I think the Maritimes as a whole is special.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and so that means Moncton is within that. But
Yeah.
like, just trying to highlight stuff like that. Like the St. John Pedway system, I did a whole thing on because
Yeah.
it's actually really good for where it is. You can get around quite easily. And I think I don't know, people ignore a lot of stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
But
Funny because like as much as a kid, probably everyone that would think of Moncton would think of Crystal Palace.
Mm-hmm.
Me as a kid thinking of St. John, it's the whole Pedway
yeah,
system.
like it's
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah.
And Brunswick Square Mall, I
Yeah.
did a video on that. People loved and hated that.
The conflicting opinions never
Well,
bad
I
thing.
mean, I just bring it to light. I
Yeah.
mean, people.
Can have their opinion on
Yeah,
it.
I
right?
mean, should it like it? That mall is like 90% empty.
Right.
It's probably a waste. Like
Yeah.
something needs to be done there. But I
Right.
just document it as I see it. That's my job, right?
That's cool.
Bring it to light. But I don't know. I think, and I've sat down with some like historians and like people that work at the museum and stuff. If nobody brings stuff like this to
Yeah.
public attention, then it
Yeah.
disappears.
Yeah.
Or gets redeveloped or whatever. But
Yeah.
if people talk about it and bring it to attention, then hopefully something of value comes from it, I
Yeah.
guess.
And it's funny because it's a very different perspective of what I was talking to both of you before you came on. I was like, for us, really our goal for this was to be like, hey, everybody plays a part in like building Moncton, and even if it's something very unique that not a lot of people knew about, but they're like, damn, this is from Moncton, or someone that started this crazy old business or whatnot. I think part of that is that the people that are here are the people that have to take accountability to make it an even greater place than it is. But on your end, what is very cool is you're bringing light to a lot of things that have happened that I think people often neglect, that here is a pretty cool place, and it's been like that for a very long time. It's just we've maybe not documented it, or maybe we gloss it over, or we built an apartment building over it, or we've moved a building into another building into another building,
Yeah.
or we built a Bass Pro in it. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and like I'm not against change or progress or whatever. Like things do need to happen. Like while I'm sad that Highfield Square Mall was demolished, the Avenir kind of changed downtown.
very
Yeah.
true.
And you can't ignore that.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
I like going to Wildcats games there.
Yeah.
Like I do
It
enjoy
gives you
it.
a cool feel.
It
to
has
it.
more
it
life
has
there
that
now
vibe.
Yeah.
And it's cool to have a downtown arena.
Yeah.
I just on the flip side is like, well, let's not ignore what preceded it.
Very true.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Progress isn't bad.
Yeah.
Just document what came before.
Yeah.
That's kind of my mindset.
But
I'm not going to chain myself to a building and stop people from tearing it down.
but it's a great way also that and you talked about it just earlier, is like you can create your future nostalgia today, right? And it's like, yeah, maybe the Highfield Square is this distant memory of like the Christmas parade and things like that. Shedding light on that also is a great way to remind people that like the Avenir Center, if you don't use it, you won't create an experience that 20 years from now you'll be like, oh my god, I can't, like, I remember that year I went to the Wildcats game, and that year they were so sick and they won the Memorial Cup and whatnot. Like, that's a memory that you create. You don't watch it through your phone, right? You can, but it's not the same thing.
That's a really good point. Like I have a lot of nostalgia with the Coliseum going to Cats games.
Me too.
there.
Same.
So like anybody, 5 or 6 going to the Wildcats games at the Avenir, when they hit 24, they will have that same feeling.
100%.
And I think that's great. Like have that, live that.
Yeah.
I mean, the Avenir is incredible regardless. Like it's just a great.
Oh yeah.
Like.
Yeah, and I've worked there. I've done I did bartending with the events and all that, and it's just like the the skeleton of it and everything that's there is like, you're like, holy shit, this is like a top notch building, and it's really cool to see like that in Moncton. And I think with prices going up and things like that, like it's few and far between being able to go and participate at those things every single time. But our population is growing so much that I think people also need to think about like, hey, can I go like 2 or 3 times a year? And if 150,000 people do that, the building's going to be full for 36 games, right? And hopefully people don't neglect that, and that we lose a building like that, because at the end of the day, it's there's a part of it that is funding from our tax dollars and things like that, but it's a privately owned building, right? So it could very well be like, I'm sure they won't knock it down, but we can't take it for granted.
Well,
right?
yeah, and you gotta appreciate stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's cool how even with the Avenir being built, the Coliseum has a new purpose. In a way, like it's still there's still stuff there all the time.
Yeah, they make good use of it.
Like good for them. I love that place. I think that place is that would be in the like Highfield Square Crystal Palace marker with me. Except it's still lasting. So but that's a future video.
Also has its unique smell too.
It does. Yeah. Which eerily reminds me again of popcorn.
Yeah, and Tim Hortons.
And Tim Hortons. Yeah. Now, I usually finish off with one question, but I think for this one here, I'm going to put that one aside, because I really want to know from both of you, and I'll give mine as well. What was the best ride at Magic at Crystal Palace?
Oh man,
if you could pick one.
I'd have to go with the roller coaster.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah,
I can't pick one.
I can. Yeah,
roller coaster.
Yeah, just because as a kid, that was the one that you talked. At least me thinking like me amongst my brothers and cousins, it's the one that you talked about the most.
Yeah.
and it's the one that you compare the most to other roller coasters, and it's
sure.
kind of like the entryway into other roller coasters. And so.
Do you remember the year that they put in like the tunnels?
Oh yeah.
That had like it was like pirates in it. And
Yeah,
stuff like
'cause I remember as a kid, it wasn't a tunnel. It went through the bridges.
that. Yeah,
that was
but there
on-
wasn't anything in it.
but there
right? It was
wasn't-
just black.
exactly.
And then at one point they put like
I
figurines
I
and things
feel
like
like
that.
they like advertised that heavily for a March break one year,
Okay.
and they're like, we have a tunnel now, and there's a bunch of glow in the dark pirates in
Yeah.
it, and if I'm not mistaken, the whole time I worked and right up until it closed, I'm pretty sure it kept the tunnel was there.
Oh, yeah.
The tunnel was there when I was there.
Yeah.
I remember it.
You probably didn't experience it without the.
Nope.
Yeah. This is, well, I don't know. Well, it's kind of embarrassing, but I probably closed my eyes and put my hand over my eyes until I was probably like 15. Like I was just like, oh, they're gonna get me or whatever,
man.
and then
Yeah,
finally
yeah.
you open it and you're like, oh, it's not that bad.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'd have to go with the roller coaster,
Roller
even though
coaster?
like mini golf is timeless. Like
Yeah.
swings close second,
Yeah.
but for me, roller coaster.
Yeah. How about you?
Well, the roller coaster's the top.
Yeah.
But I mean, swings would be close second
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
There's something about like just being so high towards the skylight,
Yeah.
and you could see the whole park. That was
Yeah.
cool. The mini putt was cool. The sky flyer I felt was very unique, laying
Yeah.
on your stomach.
You were saying
It was just
yeah.
it was different.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because you didn't just sit. But I mean, the roller coaster, like you go up the lift hill
Yeah.
and you're almost at the ceiling.
Yeah.
And when you're like 8, that's the coolest thing.
Oh,
'cause
yeah.
you're almost
Yeah.
near the ceiling.
Yeah.
You,
And I
like,
mean-
go through the entire park.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you see the whole park, and I like it. It wasn't like a basic roller coaster like some
No, it
places
wasn't.
would have, just
Yeah.
like a circle.
Yeah.
Like it was actually kind of dynamic for
Yeah.
what it was. So I mean, yeah, I think it was specially built for that building.
Okay.
Like I think it was built with intention to be there,
Yeah.
and not like just an off the shelf thing.
Okay.
So I don't know. I feel like it is the best, especially like it kickstarted my interest in roller coasters, and now
Yeah.
we're like doing ones that are like quadruple the height. But like, you know what I mean? It's like that's where it started, right? That
Yeah.
interest started there. So
I have to agree as well. I think it's the roller coaster.
Yeah.
I think, but to both of your point, like the swings has, I think what separates them is that the roller coaster is so unique being inside and still very fun.
Yeah.
And the swings is like, the setting kind of makes it really cool, but the roller coaster makes it like the setting makes the roller coaster
Yeah.
even cooler. And the swings is, it's just going around and around, so it's very much like once you get up you have the same feeling. But I found like the roller coaster was always like, there's different thrills all throughout, which I think is
Yeah.
very hard to replicate in
Yeah.
in the ride experience, which I think to a lot of people's point, like or to a lot of people's taste, like roller coasters are always like where when you see an amusement park you navigate to, because you're like,
Yeah.
oh, what's the roller coaster there, right?
Yeah. It's funny that like you mentioned the swings being like, it's pretty much a standard. There are bigger ones, smaller
Yeah.
ones, but they're like, it's a pretty standard ride.
Yeah.
I've never gravitated Crystal Palace, sure.
Yeah.
It was I liked the experience that the swings had there.
Yeah.
But at any other amusement park, I don't really gravitate towards the
Very
swings.
true. Yeah.
I don't find it's
Yeah.
an iconic experience, but at Crystal Palace it really
it was special at Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
Like I like the familiarity of seeing them at other parks, but
Yeah.
I don't go ride them. I see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I go, oh well, that's a kiddie ride,
Yeah.
and I'm not
Yeah.
a kid.
Yeah.
But like I go, oh that looks similar to Crystal Palace. I like that familiarity, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to this 200-foot roller coaster.
The
and,
one with the 8 flips.
Yeah.
and do like 8 flips. Yeah.
And it's also funny you mentioning about the Sky Flyer, because when I was a kid, when we were kids, the Sky Flyer wasn't there. I don't know what year they got it. It must have been,
I think 2001.
Okay.
2001.
which would make sense, which would be in the gap of time. Like my Crystal Palace going years had dropped down at that point.
Right.
So
Yeah.
like I wasn't going to the park when they got the ride, but when I started working at it, like it had Skyflyer on our, like they were advertising
Oh,
it
okay, yeah,
pretty
yeah,
big.
yeah.
And it's funny to hear you guys say that Skyflyer was a hit.
Well, it was just unique.
Yeah, because for me, it's not part of my nostalgia,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It was later, right?
right.
Yeah.
Well,
And
and that's the same way the VR thing isn't part of mine.
Yeah.
Because it was before. So it's
Yeah.
like,
It was
it's cool
pretty
that it changed so much over its 24 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so operating it and seeing it the whole time I worked there, I'm just like, yeah, that ride's whatever. Like, because it's not tapping into the same pathways
Yeah.
as the roller coaster,
Yeah.
the wave swinger, and laser tag and all that I experienced as a kid.
Laser tag too.
Yeah,
Laser tag has to be close in those top ones too.
it was pretty good too.
It was pretty
If
sick.
you had a good group,
Yeah.
it was good.
Oh,
But if you had
yeah.
a bad group, it was terrible.
I had a birthday party there when I was like 11 or 12 years old, and I came in a corner and I turned my gun and I hit my buddy in the face and it smashed his nose. Dude, it was like insane. Like he had to get stitches and everything, and it was like that's like one of my core memories in there, not because I freaking hurt my friend, but just like it was pretty intense.
Yeah.
Like you were just like, and it was like the glow in the dark and
Yeah.
everything about it was like it was really fun. So
Yeah.
Kind of wish we had some sort of laser tag
Yeah.
spot.
Isn't there? Well, I think there's one at. I'm sure probably teenagers don't go there, but hop, skip, jump. I'm pretty sure they have laser tag.
Yeah,
there.
I've never
Oh,
been there.
yeah.
That's about.
But
that's-
it's not.
yeah.
It's
Too
young for
definitely
me.
not. It's
Yeah.
definitely not marketed towards adults.
No,
That's very true.
Yeah.
no, but like an adult level laser
Yeah,
tag,
That would be pretty sick.
arcade, mini putt center
Yeah.
could be
Yeah.
cool.
Maybe a business idea.
Maybe.
Well,
Yeah.
guys, it was great experience to go through this, still reliving all of this nostalgia,
Yeah.
which is for people that have not watched the documentary yet, highly recommend it, whether you've had the pleasure of going to Crystal Palace,
Yeah.
and even if you haven't, and I think it's like we were
Or
saying a
bringing your
lot through
kids
this is
there.
yeah, and it's like just I think it's about reminding yourself that like there's really cool experiences here, but also like you can build the memories with even the most simplest things. Doesn't have to be like the next best vacation spot or all these crazy things that I think now that we have like social media, it's always the highlight reels and things like that. It's like sometimes you just gotta like step back and just look at it and be like, you know what, the memories that you can make here are as profound as anywhere else you can make. And I think kudos to you and congrats for the
Thank
great
you.
success so far, and
Thank you.
hopefully on many more of the projects that I feel you
No,
are-
there's a list of not just amusement parks, but
Yeah.
like places of nostalgia and gathering in the Maritimes that I'm gonna touch on. So
good.
Yeah.
Awesome, guys. That's a
thank
wrap.
you.